Dozens of migrant girls are quarantined at the San Diego Convention Center after positive COVID tests. What's next for them and others as asylum cases are processed?
COVID cases and hospitalizations are trending down in San Diego County. What the CEO of a local hospital is urging people to do to keep the numbers down.
Plus, a South Bay toddler's love of UPS trucks leads to a sweet surprise. How his positively San Diego joy spread to the truck drivers and then back again.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
Some of the teenage girls staying at the San Diego Convention Center while seeking asylum have tested positive for COVID. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Many San Diego organizations have stepped in to offer services as the girls are processed and then reunited with their family members. Our ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala spoke with County Supervisor Nora Vargas, who spent one-on-one time with the girls.
When I see those beautiful faces in front of me, all I can think of is I can't imagine my nieces being by themselves out anywhere, without anybody taking care of them.
Monday, hundreds of migrant girls ages 13 to 17 seeking asylum were settling in at the San Diego Convention Center after arriving over the weekend. ABC 10 News has learned at least 27 girls tested positive for COVID-19 before arriving here and 6 more after. Monday, an additional 4 were COVID-19 positive. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the girls with known positive cases were brought here on a separate plane. All 37 are now staying in a separate area of the convention center away from those who tested negative. We're told none of the cases are serious at this point. The girls are here to be processed and then connected with a family member or sponsor. County Supervisor Nora Vargas spent some time with the girls, getting to know their stories and where they're headed next on this journey.
Some of them said they were going to Chicago and North Carolina and, Florida.
She says many came from Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. The convention center currently has the capacity to welcome up to 1,450, and many nonprofits have stepped in to help. South Bay Community Services, or SBCS, was asked by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to assist the girls with social services. They're teaming up with organizations on a local, state, and federal level to provide education, enrichment, family reunification, and religious services.
When you're there, you remember that these are they're little girls in the end. And so we have to do whatever we can to make sure that they're safe.
And as these girls start this next chapter of their lives, many San Diegans have reached out asking how they can help. Right now, Vargas says the best way to do so is by donating directly through SBCS.
So I want to say thank you to our San Diego community for really being a welcoming community.
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
Health and Human Services says about 250 more teenage girls will arrive tonight. The South Bay Community Services is collecting donations online for those who have contacted us asking how to help. We have a link on our website at 10news.com. And tonight on ABC 10 News at 7, why some local lawmakers say the convention center isn't the best choice for sheltering migrant children.
San Diego County's 14-day rolling average continues to hover around 2.5%. In the past week, most days saw 1 or 2% of the tests come back positive. Today, it was 4%. That's about 290 new cases. And as we typically see on a Monday, there were no new deaths reported locally. More than 3,500 San Diegans have died from the virus. As more and more people are vaccinated, we have seen COVID cases trending downward. The same goes for hospitalizations here in San Diego County. ABC 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena spoke with the CEO of Sharp Coronado about the trend they're experiencing and what they're urging people to do now.
Just a few months ago, California was seeing a spike in COVID hospitalizations, and ICU capacity had dwindled to nearly zero in some areas. But things are turning around. This graph from the San Diego County Health Department shows the trend. A major spike in December and January, but in February, the numbers start coming down.
At this point, our COVID numbers are well down and nearly back to where we were pre-pandemic, which allows us to care for those who've been waiting to have surgery over the last year.
Sharp Coronado CEO Susan Stone says despite the encouraging numbers, they're still staffed and equipped to handle whatever happens.
Well, we remain at the ready to implement any of our surge plans.
But the drop in hospitalization rates means the hospital can start shifting back to some of its normal functions, which includes more surgeries.
We have everything in place from the moment someone's considering surgery. There's pre-procedural screening, as well as even when you enter the hospital, we're screening.
In the meantime, Stone says a major emphasis is being put on vaccines. They're urging people to get one when it's their turn to keep the encouraging trends going.
We're running 5 super sites to vaccinate our community. We invite anybody who's interested in getting a vaccine who meets the eligibility criteria to please get in touch with us.
Lindsay Pena, ABC 10 News.
Sharp says the best way to schedule a vaccine through them or any county site is through vaccinesuperstationsd.com.
Now, the vaccine superstation at the Del Mar Fairgrounds will close again later this week. The site continues to deal with a shortage of doses. Scripps Health runs that site and says it received a low number of doses. The superstation will be closed on Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Appointments scheduled on those dates will automatically be rescheduled through the MyTurn online appointment system. In the meantime, several new vaccination clinics are opening this week. 2 of them are in Escondido and southeastern San Diego. They will open tomorrow and will operate Tuesday through Saturday from 9:30 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon. The appointments, as always, are required. And another clinic will open on Wednesday in Sherman Heights for 1 day only. The site is only for neighbors who live in or around South Park, Barrio Logan, Webster, and Choyas View. Appointments are not needed, but proof of residence is. About a third of San Diego County residents have gotten at least 1 dose of the COVID vaccine. That's according to data from the county. And about 20% of area residents have been fully vaccinated.
Some students at UC San Diego will help determine how effective the Moderna vaccine is in a collegiate setting. The study will take a deep look at the vaccine's ability to prevent infection and reduce transmission on college campuses. About 12,000 students from 20 different U.S. universities will participate. They will be monitored over a 5-month period. And while many college semesters were derailed by COVID outbreaks, UCSD enacted rigorous policies that have kept its infection rate low. And today, President Biden said he expects 90% of Americans to be eligible for the COVID vaccine by April 19th. You can find that story and more vaccine resources on the ABC 10 News app. It's free in the App Store.
Attorneys laid out their cases today as the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin got underway. Chauvin is charged with 2nd and 3rd degree murder in the death of George Floyd. Prosecutors first showed the jury more than 9 minutes of witness video of Floyd being held to the ground by Chauvin's knee. They say it's clear the video shows a homicide. But defense lawyers painted a very different picture of what happened that day, telling jurors officers struggled to arrest Floyd. They said during the arrest, Floyd put drugs in his mouth in an effort to conceal them from police. The trial is expected to last up to 4 weeks.
An early warning system is being proposed for San Diego's coastal bluff collapses. And this comes 2 years after 3 women were killed in Encinitas when a block of sandstone fell on them while sunbathing. The new bill would set aside more than $2 million for the Scripps Institution of Oceanography to study why the cliffs collapse and ideally come up with a way to predict when the bluff is about to fail.
So we're using technologies that weren't available a few years ago, and we hope that by applying those technologies, we can really understand what happens.
If the bill is approved, Scripps would start the research at the end of the year. The study could last up to 5 years.
The county says about 40,000 people have already cast their ballot in next week's special election in the 79th Assembly District. Early voting started this month, but as of today, people can now drop off their ballots at secure locations in the district. Voters can also return them to the Registrar of Voters office in Kearney Mesa. Note that office and the drop-off locations, they will be closed this Wednesday for Cesar Chavez Day. The election is next Tuesday. Several candidates are vying to fill the seat of California's Secretary of State, Shirley Weber.
A San Diego officer is receiving national recognition for a heroic rescue last year. In June, Officer Jonathan Weiss leaped into action after a truck went over Sunset Cliffs and into the water. The driver, a father, and his 2 children were inside. Officer Weiss used his own canine's leash to rappel down to save them. Weiss has now been selected to receive the Carnegie Medal. It's one of the highest honors for civilian heroism. The organization behind the award gives out grants to winners and the people they've helped.